Obviously, here we are on the verge of yet another season. Talk a little about the excitement going on right now in Jefferson at the start of what's going to be hopefully a good 2014 for you.
Well, we're coming off two very successful seasons. Obviously, the state championship in 2012, and then the quarterfinal finish last year with a 10-3 record. We have a good group of kids coming back. The team's excited. The coaches are excited. The school and community are behind us, and going into this season, we have to find 5 offensive linemen, so that's going to be a challenge. We replace all 5 up front. Running backs, we need to find 2 new running backs. We have our quarterback, Evan Sheriff's back, and 2 receivers, and TJ Skelton and Dalton Hill. And defensively, we have 9 returning starters. So that's nice. We're expecting a lot of leadership from the defensive side of the ball, and we have seniors who have played for the last two years coming back. Trad Porter in the secondary, Kendrick Robinson, cornerback, linebackers Cooper Young, Trent Sorrells, Maverick McKinney, and then Cole Stanfield up front, Michael Pelosi at defensive tackle, and then Dante Wilson's a sophomore that started some games last year that's had a really good summer. So we're expecting a lot of production, more consistency out of the defense this year.
You talk about those 2 big seasons that y'all just put together. What has that done for the program as far as just raising expectation levels, and not just amongst the coaching staff, but amongst the kids? I mean, I imagine that they go in now expecting big things. Right,
they do. The kids here in Jefferson, they go into every game expecting to win, and you don't coach that. That is developed over time, and the program, the youth program, has grown. The recreation department, the numbers there have really increased over the last 2 years. The middle school has had a lot of success, so there's a lot of momentum at Jefferson.
What as far as you mentioned, obviously getting your quarterback back, and I know he dealt with injury last year, and y'all were successful in replacing him when you had to. Skelton stepping in there. How big is it to have Sheriff's back under center this year?
Oh, it's huge. We did have to overcome losing him in the first quarter of Game 5 last year, and he broke his thumb and was out for pretty much the remainder of the season. He came back in the last game, and I can't say enough about what TJ Skelton did for us last year. Unselfishly, he stepped in there from the receiver position and filled in at quarterback, and that took away a lot of his numbers at receiver, and I never heard a word out of him. He did that. He's a true team player, and the kids realize that, and TJ's shown a lot of leadership for us this year, and hopefully we keep everybody healthy, but it is nice to have a kid like TJ who can fill in if needed.
What you mentioned, 5 offensive linemen. I mean, especially in a smaller school, it's not necessarily easy to find offensive linemen. Talk about how that search is going, and the guys that you've got stepping into those roles.
Well, we have a lot of program guys who have been with us throughout, and it's their turn to step up. And this is one of those years where it's going to be all 5. Usually you replace 2 or 3. 2012 we replaced 4. So it can be done. These kids they're excited about their opportunity, and we put pads on tomorrow, and we'll try to find the 5. And we have 9 or 10 guys that are battling for 5 spots, so that's nice. We have we have good numbers up front, and there's a lot of competition. So the 5 that prove themselves over the next few weeks and in the scrimmage, hopefully that'll be the 5 that'll take us through the season, but it is nice to have some depth.
I was about to say, I mean, you seem pretty comfortable with the options that y'all are going to have regardless. I mean, is that correct?
Yes, we feel good about the kids up front. It's just a kind of a next man in mentality with them. So it's their time to prove that they can do it. The only thing they're lacking is varsity game experience as a starter. Most of the kids have played at some point. It's just a matter of accepting that starting role and developing as the season goes along.
What taking a look around, obviously y'all jumping up in region and you've picked up some old rivals and some new rivals and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Talk about the schedule and kind of what you see playing out this season.
Well, this is probably the toughest schedule Jefferson High School has ever had. Moving up to Region 8 AAA, which is always competitive. And then non-region, we open 0 week, August 22nd with Rabun County, a playoff team that took us to overtime last year. And then we follow that with Winder Barrow, which is an 8-5A school. That is an old rivalry for Jefferson. And the two schools haven't played in a while, so people here are excited about playing Winder. And then we follow that with an 8-4A school in North Hall, which we've played for the last 4 years, and we split 2-2 with them, and that's developed into one of the new rivalries, and that's a good game for us. Two strong communities, and that has turned into a nice little rivalry for our kids. And then the fourth non-region game is, the game with Commerce, and that's the old rivalry that everybody's excited about.
I mean, obviously, coming into this region, I mean, no one's ever sure how it's going to play out. But I mean, how competitive do you see 8 AAA being, top to bottom? Oh,
very competitive. The teams at the top coming off last year, you have Hart County and Elbert County, which, from what I understand, those two teams are really strong this year. So that's going to be a challenge in itself for those two teams. And then you have teams like Oconee County that has a new coaching staff, and there's a lot of excitement behind that program. And then the county rivalries with Jackson County and East Jackson. That's always competitive, and anytime you play your neighbors, there's some emotion involved there. And Morgan County is always athletic. We've scrimmaged Morgan County for the last 2 years, and they always field a strong team.
As far as this group, kind of, what have you seen in the off season from this group to kind of let you know that, I don't know, they're ready to step up and seize this season? I mean, has there been anything in particular that's kind of stood out about them or anything like that?
Well, our coaches were talking the other day that it's almost scary, the level of focus we've shown here in our preseason practices thus far. We've had strong senior leadership from the guys who are returning, and then, we talked about the guys up front and the running backs. They understand it's their time, and every opportunity they have to prove themselves is crucial. So it's a fun group to work with the senior leadership we have coming back, and then the young kids that are battling for positions. It makes going to practice every day very enjoyable.
Let's, Coach, I appreciate your time. Good luck on 2014.
Thank you, Morgan.